Hey, I'm so very excited to talk with Urška Pirjevec today. She's a Pinterest marketing extraordinaire, an absolutely brilliant person who has helped dozens of businesses in order to attract thousands of people on their website and just like bring their Pinterest marketing strategy to a whole other level. Urška, great that you are with us. How are you doing today?
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm fine, great, thank you.
Super. So I'm looking forward to learn all your secrets about Pinterest because basically how I was used to see it before I met you was just like this cool platform where I can find inspiration dashboards for weddings. But ever since we met, I learned that Pinterest offers amazing opportunities to marketers and it is such an untapped channels. Could you tell us how untapped it is, like what is the potential, what are opportunities there?
Sure. Well, like you said, a lot of people feel that Pinterest just for weddings and just for recipes and DIY and stuff like that. And I feel that a lot of businesses don't realize how powerful Pinterest can be for their business. Right now, they're like still experiencing user growth, even though Pinterest is not really a new platform. I just checked the data, and they grew like from 300 million to 360 million of monthly active users in the last year, which maybe in comparison to other social media channels is not that much. I mean, there's not that many users, but the potential is really great because there are not that many businesses using Pinterest. And just because of that, the organic reach is amazing. You are able to achieve really get a lot of people seeing your content because just there's not that much competition.
Right. And talking about competition, I mean, on Facebook, we are waiting for a bloody summer because all the political career campaigns in the USA will spill millions in order to promote their candidates. That's why, especially, and I learned that from you, in the USA, it's important to find alternative channels because Facebook marketing is expecting to get seriously expensive by November when the elections are on. And talking about which, just like, why do you think that more people aren't utilizing Pinterest? What are like the biggest misconceptions, or just like what's stopping them in order to untap this amazing potential that you were just talking about?
Well, I feel that just because people, like users in general, don't even see Pinterest as a marketing platform. Because if you take Instagram or Facebook, for example, everyone knows that if you're using Facebook, like as a person, as a normal person, you know that all of these brands and businesses that are on there, they're trying to sell you something. You know, may not be thinking about it, but you just have that like in the back of your mind. And on Pinterest, it's really not like that. Even like I've been using Pinterest for a lot of years before I even found out that it can be used as a marketing platform.
That's fascinating.
And yeah, and because I believe that that's the reason, because every time you go on Pinterest, you're finding like you're searching for content and you're finding something that's useful for you, and they're not like annoying ads that are not relevant to you in any way. And just because of that, since people don't even realize that it's a marketing platform, that's I also think that businesses also don't realize. And when I first found out about it, I realized that like bloggers, they figured that out. Now they're using Pinterest to just promote their blogs and drive traffic to their websites. But other businesses, they still need to figure that out, and they are still, in that position where they see Pinterest just as a this platform for nice photos and recipes and weddings and things like that. But in reality, it's a really great market and a really great channel to use to promote your content.
Fantastic. Could we be like very specific about who can win on Pinterest? I mean, I know that there are some marketing options for e-commerce, for lifestyle brands, which is very fascinating. But you have been working a lot with service industries, isn't that so? what
Yeah.
were like the results there, and how did you go and just like develop these strategies? Because for me it's extremely interesting in terms of social media. Just like from my experience, I'm investing a lot of time in developing like content for LinkedIn or Instagram, but that, my dear, is a perishable content. So it's going on, you know, for a week approximately, best case scenario, but usually you make it so that like one day after, nobody will remember what happened. And what is fascinating for me about Pinterest is just like that this content becomes this long time asset, this a la carte thing that people can discover in a very long amount of period. That's why I would be more eager to invest more resources, especially design resources, in order to make that as well as I can. And just like to get back to the question that was presented at the beginning of this conversation, what type of businesses can find their new audiences on Pinterest? How do you go about that?
Well, I feel that if you're a business and you're working directly with consumers, that's already a great option. Because, for example, let's say that you're, I don't know, a graphic designer, and you can be a graphic designer that work with other small businesses and freelancers. That's definitely a great platform for you. I mean, that's definitely a great opportunity for you to use Pinterest. But on the other hand, if you're a graphic designer but working with like really big companies, then there's a difference, because maybe like some CEO or like the marketing department, whoever is in charge in that company for like graphic design, they may not be using Pinterest to search for that kind of content. So if you're selling direct to consumers or like working with other small businesses, that's, I think, like a really great potential. Like you said, I work with service-based businesses. I work with brand designers, website designers, marketers, virtual assistants. So these are, all of my clients are basically working with other small businesses and other freelancers. And for example, like they can get anywhere from 1,000 to 3,000 clicks to their website in a month from Pinterest alone. And if you compare that to Instagram, for example, I have a client who has, when we started working together, she had like a couple thousand followers on Instagram, and she would be getting, let's say, about 50 clicks from Instagram, maybe
Yeah,
50
that
to
sounds
100.
normal. Somewhere in the range of 100 would be my guess as well. And just like
Yeah,
hearing 1,000 from Pinterest, I mean, it's 10x or 20x.
yeah, it's great because you don't even need a lot of followers. You can have like 120, 200 followers, and you can still be getting like 1,000, 2,000 clicks to your website. And as you said, a certain pin can live for a really long time on Pinterest. Um, again, if I take an example for my clients, we posted a pin last November, and it's still getting her about, let's say, 200, 300 clicks to her website every single month. Just because once it takes off on Pinterest, or like once it gets traction and people start saving it and clicking on it, it will just keep on going until it dies out when it starts being relevant. But that's really a great thing in comparison to other platforms, because like you said, you can post something today and 2 days from now nobody will see it.
That's incredible. And just like, I'm so happy that you actually shared the numbers. Those were mind-blowing numbers. Let's proceed by asking you, how do we go about creating the pins that will bring us hundreds of people to the website, thousands of people each single month? Do I just like go there and open my account and hope for the best, maybe post some dog pictures? What are the things that we should avoid when we are like doing our Pinterest strategy? And especially for us who are just like starting out, what are the things that we should really pay attention to?
So the first thing, of course, you need to realize who are you trying to target, because if you don't know that, you have to create your strategy first. Know what kind of audience you're trying to reach and what kind of content they might be interested in. So that's kind of the first point. And when you go from there, you just create an account and start publishing content. But the really important thing is here that you need to create content specifically for Pinterest, which I feel that that's a mistake that a lot of businesses make, is that they just take whatever they're posting, let's say on Instagram, and they reshare it on Pinterest either automatically or just copy paste it. But one thing that's really important, if you've been using Pinterest for yourself, then you probably already know this, that there kind of like specific graphics or specific visuals that you can find on Pinterest. It's usually just an image and has like a text overlay on top of that. And that's something that it tells people that what kind of content they can access once they click on that pin. And this is like something really important that you need to pay attention to, not just recycle whatever you have or like copy paste it, but create content specifically for Pinterest. So that's when it comes to visuals. And then you also need to be aware that Pinterest is not a social media platform, it's a search engine, and you need to treat it as such and optimize your content so that it performs well on Pinterest.
So that's PO, Pinterest Engine
Pinterest
Optimization.
SEO, yeah.
How do you go about it? I saw that there are some tools, though you can do some research, right? So you can make informed decisions. It's not just like you trying by trial and error.
Yeah, it's pretty similar to SEO, normal SEO for your website. You need to know, again, who you're trying to target and what kind of keywords those people that you're trying to reach, what are they searching for. So again, if I take an example for like, if you're someone who does Instagram marketing, then you'll be probably using keywords like Instagram tips or how to grow your Instagram account, how to go get more followers. And you need to really optimize your print descriptions, optimize your profile, because based on that, you basically just tell the algorithm what your content is about, and it will then take that information and show it then your content to people who are looking for it. And in contrast with Instagram, for example, you tend to, as a business, you tend to be more personal on Instagram. You're writing your descriptions or your captions in a way that speaks to a person. Like you try to maybe share something, a story of what happened to you, or something that you learned. But on Pinterest, it's really not like that. You just need to make sure that the algorithm knows what the content is all about, and then you're good to go.
That's amazing, because like a lot of business owners that I'm working with, they even find LinkedIn too personal. Just like the whole notion of exposing themselves is something that they don't like to do as people. So that might be a wonderful opportunity for them as well. Before we conclude this awesome conversation, I would like to ask you if there are some like businesses that are not doing well on Pinterest. So how do you know if Pinterest is the right platform for you, considering that we have an audience with very different business models and from industries? Are there any like tips? How do you realize that Pinterest will work for you?
Mm-hmm. So a really easy way to do it is just to open Pinterest and search for the kind of content or for the kind of services that you're providing. Let's say that you're a copywriter and you just go into Pinterest and write copywriting tips and see what kind of content shows up, because that really tells you like if Pinterest users are interested in that kind of content, if they're searching for it, if they're saving it, and if they're clicking on it. If nothing shows up, if there are only like a few pins that are not really that qualitative, then maybe Pinterest is not the best place for you. To be even more specific, you can even search for if someone has already saved some photos or some content from your website specifically. And you can just do that. You go to Pinterest and /source, and then you add your domain, like your website, let's say www.something.com. And by doing that, Pinterest will show you like if someone went actually to your website and saved something directly there from your website to their Pinterest account. So these are just a few things that you can try. And another thing is just to ask like your customers and whoever is working with you or buying something from you, if they're using Pinterest, they're searching for that kind of content. That's probably the most sure way to find out.
That's phenomenal and totally hands off. Love how hands on you are. These are just like amazing tips. So you got me hooked. Looking forward to start with my Pinterest marketing. Tell us some tips. Where can I learn more about that and how to get in touch with you if I need to?
So I publish a lot of blog posts on Pinterest. So if you're wanting to learn more about that, I have tips on there. My website is ayali.com, which is AYALIE.com. And I'm also on Instagram, and now I'm also on LinkedIn. So that's something that I'm trying to grow. And if you're interested in learning more about Pinterest, you can just find me there.
I definitely am interested and I can't wait for new content because it's just like Pinterest is so incredible because it has been around for so much time. But personally, I have never done anything apart from some fashion brands or furniture brands. And it was just like this organic thing. But I haven't had the case where somebody would go about that systematically and consistently deliver good results as you indicated that can be done. The very last thing before we really close this conversation, and I hate to do it because I could talk about this for hours. It's so interesting to me. In how much time do you see results? Like, how patient should you be when you are starting out?
Well, at first it starts a bit slowly. You maybe get in the first month, if you're posting consistently, maybe you get like a handful of clicks, and but then it starts growing. For example, someone that I just started working with 4 months ago, she already reached 1,000 clicks to her website. But of course, it depends on the industry and depends on the kind of content that you're creating. So I would say that like first month expect around like 100, 200, few hundred clicks. And then after like month 6 or maybe after that, you can already get to 1,000 and more.
That's fantastic. And here my final challenge for you. We won't say what is the optimal frequency of publishing on Pinterest in this video. In order to learn that, you have to visit Urška's profile and she will post something around this subject. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Fantastic. I just created another idea how to do this. All right. Thanks so much, Urška, for being with us, for sharing this awesome hands-on information that you have from your business practice. Good luck in future. And we are totally looking forward to learn more about your wonderful science in future.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.